The time is just gone 8:39 a.m. and this is of concern. We are talking about the plight of Muslims in India, and for a very very long time, these are developments that have been taking place. In fact, they've gone worse, and from being denied jobs for wearing a hijab to more other implicit forms of exclusion. And looking at the Muslim population of India, making up nearly 14% of India's 1.35 billion population, but at the end of the day, they don't have the same representation in government or in the private sector. And multiple government appointed commissions have found that the Muslim community in India is right at the bottom when it comes to social groups in terms of education and employment. So they are being denied education, they are being denied employment purely for one simple reason, despite having the qualifications, despite having the credentials, because they are Muslim. And joining us to unpack this story, we're joined by the MRN's Dr. Ahmed Haroon Jazbhay. Dr. Jazbhay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome.
Walaikum salam. Yeah, shukran for having me.
Yes, shukran to you as well. And clearly, this has been playing out for a very, very long time in India. And just looking at the stats and looking at Muslim representation and compared to the population, this is getting worse, Dr. Jasbhai.
Yes, in it, this way you mentioned earlier the government appointed commissions. There's also been a number of independent studies done and so on. As you pointed out, Muslims comprise 14% of the population, but have a representation of about 7% or so in the public sector workforce. And I think when it comes to this, what we term overt Islamophobia, uh, as well as systemic Islamophobia. You see, Muslims in India are, as you pointed out, are being denied education opportunities. So there is the social political marginalization of Muslims that has been entrenched. Now the game of the BJP, the RSS-inspired BJP, is to disenfranchise Muslims economically, to ensure that Muslims are subjugated and are always always subjected to the dictates of the government in India. It's an attempt to construct this good Muslim, to ensure that it's a Muslim that will not ask for his or her right to be respected or call for his or her rights to be included in everyday in the Indian politics, be it in government, be it in the workforce, be it in in the economic space, whichever spaces we're referring to. So it is attempt to construct the good Muslim. And the one element that is now remaining is that of the economic space, which you see that many Muslim women are being denied opportunities, despite being well qualified for the positions, having the necessary credentials, in fact, sometimes being overly qualified for positions, but being told. In the past, they were not told, they were given excuses. Now being told, please remove your headscarf, please, shave off your beard in the context of a man, and you will have the job. But if you not do that, we cannot hire you. So now this is state sanctioned, because they know that now they have the backing of the political elite in the BJP and do not need to hide behind minor issues and so on. They can be overt in their Islamophobia.
Yes, and also this has become worse since Narendra Modi's party took power in 2014. And also, when one compares, and you mentioned women, when one looks at the stats regarding Muslim women and even comparing them to other minorities, we're not talking about Hindu, we're talking about Buddhists, we're talking about Christian women as well, and their statistics are much higher compared to those of Muslim women, Dr. Harun.
Yes, I mean, I believe it's around 31% to 33% respectively. I stand corrected with the exact figures. So, Christian and Buddhists are very well represented, higher than their population, contribution. So this is obviously it's a systemic attempt. It's a purposeful attempt to marginalize Muslims within the space to reduce Muslims to the menial labor jobs such as street sweepers, such as cleaning the toilets and of the rich, and those kind of menial jobs in the country that have been traditionally reserved for the Dalits, the untouchables as they referred to. So Muslims are being conditioned to become the new Dalits or the new untouchables within India, to ensure that and this will construct good Muslims. This will ensure that they will always be subjected to the whims and the fancies of Hindu nationalists, the RS-inspired Hindu nationalists, who want to ensure that Muslims are thoroughly subjugated, thoroughly at the mercy of Hindus within India, that do not want their rights respected within what is India referred to is a secular constitution. India does not have a Hindu nationalist constitution, but there is this attempt to move towards a Hindu nationalist state within India. And many have called for, raised alarm about this. And the latest incidences where the Muslim woman has said that she's a qualified dentist, she cannot get a job anywhere, and she had to change career tack from a clinical to a non-clinical form of dentistry, I believe. Then only was she able to find a job in the public sphere. So ultimately the alarms have been raised. These are an incremental form of genocide within the so-called secular state within India, and it will only get worse as long as the Congress Party is unable to make inroads within the political space to reclaim that space they lost to the BJP in 2014. So as long as that appeal, and we've seen Hindu nationalism being used as a way to also to pacify the masses within India. The state within India is massively failing to deal with the socio-economic ills of the majority in India. The state of poverty, unemployment is well documented, and everyone is aware of that. So now they changed the bogeyman to that of a Muslim in all spheres of life to hide away from their own misplaced and their own failures as a government, and unable to really stem the tide of unemployment and unemployment in the country.
Yes, and also, Dr. Haroon, we're talking about the situation getting worse, and in the absence of external pressure, international pressure, and particularly when one looks at Muslim countries, the Muslim world, very little pressure is being put on India. And here we are talking about employment, and where Muslims are denied employment within India, yet uh, Muslim countries are the largest employers of Indian expats who are remitting billions of dollars annually back into India and into the Indian economy.
Yes, most certainly. I think, when the last incident gained, worldwide condemnation, that of the result of Ahlul Bayt and the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, many Muslim countries spoke out about that. But as I mentioned then, and, it came to fruition not soon after, is that, the new leader of the UAE, Mohammed bin Zayed, openly welcomed Narendra Modi in Abu Dhabi, I think, if I'm correct. So it didn't take long for them to forget about that insult and openly welcome Narendra Modi, because they realized that India is a huge market for their goods. So anything else will they did not worry. The majority of the Muslim states are not concerned about the state of Indian Muslims and the systemic discrimination that they are faced to endure on a daily basis. So whilst there is this card to be played, by the by many Muslim countries, the UAE, Saudi Arabia in particular, it's highly unlikely that this card will be played, so to speak, because they do not want to close off very lucrative market. Unfortunately, this sort of Muslim nationalism, or this usually the famous hadith where one part of the Muslim ummah is hurt, the entire body should feel the pain. Unfortunately, is this is not a something that is put into practice. It's all about their pockets. It's all about their economies and their thrones. So we will see certain outcry from certain countries and certain sects, but those who really have the power to do something, unfortunately, will not do anything because they do not want to offend or to oppose the BJP, given that they gain a lot in terms of economic relations with India.
Well, Dr. Haroon, we're going to have to leave it at that. As always, we thank you. We say Jazakallah khairan for your time with us here on Assalam Media. All the best to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Dr. Ahmed Haroon Jazbhay, Executive Member at MRN SA, with us this morning. We're going to go for a break. We come back. We'll be joined in Sayed at Queenie Secure.